Alright guys, so today's video is going to be about using AI to work through the 5 main IRS notices. Okay, so most IRS notices aren't random, okay? They're there for a reason, right? And they fall into categories. And each category has to have a different response mindset when you get one. Okay, once you recognize the type of category and the type of notice, then your responses become clear and more systematic. Okay, so the first notice is going to be CP14 balance due. Now, the CP14 is the starting point. Okay, what the CP14 means is that the IRS is informing the taxpayer, or you if you got one, that they have a balance to due on their taxes. That's it. Why it exists? It informs you that the IRS has processed your return and found that you owe money, and they adjusted your return and determined that you have an underpayment. Okay, so you owe them money essentially. And this is the first notice to let you know this. It's not urgent yet. It's not considered super urgent in terms of collections because it's the first initial notice, right? So it's not super urgent. So the taxpayer has time to resolve their issues before any harsher penalties apply. Okay. So when it comes to AI, how do we use AI, right? So the goal here isn't to panic, it's assessment. The goal here is to assess what's important, what's not. So I use AI to draft a clean client explanation and outline options, not decide options for me. Okay. I decide the options, but it gives me an outline. It gives me which options I can take, right, as the professional. So notice number 2 is going to be the CP504 intent to levy. Okay, this is where emotions spike. This notice signals escalation, but not immediate levy, right? There's not levy in here, but there is some risk. Okay, things to keep in mind for this is deadline awareness. Risk framing, if you do that. Risk framing, for example, is if you don't pay this $15,000 tax liability by Friday, then the IRS will seize funds directly from your bank account and garnish your wages. So you have to measure the risk. Do you have the money to pay? Do you don't? How much is in your bank account? Is it worth freezing if you have plans to use this money to make a big purchase? You have to assess the risk of what's going to happen and see what's more convenient for you, for your client, right? So you have to make sure what are the immediate next steps. These are all things that you can ask AI to help you with, okay? And AI helps you organize the response, and it also can help you organize the client communication, right? Um, but the strategy stays with the enrolled agent, with me. The strategy stays with you, right? So notice number 3 is going to be the CP2000 underreported income. This is not a bill, it's a proposal. Okay, this notice requires fact verification. Okay, it doesn't require fear, it doesn't require stress or panic. Okay, the client is already panicked. You don't need the stress. You don't need stress, right? So I never let AI decide what is correct and what is not. I use it to organize documents, to draft explanations, and to structure response outlines. Okay? I, as the enrolled agent, still evaluate all of the facts. Okay? Now, notice number 4, the LT11, final notice of intent to levy. Now, this one's one of the most serious notices. Okay? Deadlines, for example, here matter a lot. Appeal rights matter. Appeal rights is, well, in tax, refers to the legal right a taxpayer has to contest or dispute uh, a decision made by a tax authority, in this case the IRS, regarding their tax liability, right? So consequences matter. Consequences of both paying and not paying, right? So it helps me make sure that nothing is missed. Why? Because all of these things matter, so nothing can be missed. Okay, I personally control the timing, I personally control the tone and the strategies and the decisions made with this case. But I use AI as a junior assistant to make sure I'm not missing anything. It's like a second set of eyeballs, essentially, right? That's also extremely smart. Notice number 5 is going to be the revenue officer contact. Now, this isn't just a notice. This is a relationship. How you communicate to the IRS matters. And what better tool to use than a language model, ChatGPT, right? So I use AI to draft professional, neutral communication, right? I decide, though, what we're asking and why. You see how there's still professional judgment on my part, right? You tell it what to do, but you are telling it what to do. You're asking it what you want, and it gives you what you want, right? Nothing goes out without my review. Okay. Now, why AI helps with all of these, right? Across all of these, AI consistently helps with drafting, organization, clarity, and reducing your mental load, which is the most important thing, right? It reduces your mental load. It gives you more mental energy to do other high leverage tasks, other bigger decisions that require more timing, that require more judgment, that require more experience, right? It does not replace judgment, experience, or responsibility, okay? And if you keep all of these things in mind, then this is how you stay effective, right? Stay effective and I spelled effective wrong. If you keep all these things in mind when you're using AI and you have these notices coming in. When you get these notices, guys, everyone and their mom is worried. Everybody's already panicking. Everybody's stressed, thinking about the worst case scenario. You, as a professional, you have to be stoic. You have to be that anchor for them. They have to look to you for. They already see you as a professional, but they have to see you as somebody who's been through this before, who's going to get them out of the situation, right? And this is how you command higher fees too, because not only are you financially saving them, right? But the mental peace that you're also giving to them is, you can't put a price tag on that, right? People are paying for mental peace. People are paying you to solve their problems so that they can sleep well at night, or in this case, get a levy lifted, so they can buy Starbucks from, their latte from Starbucks or whatever. This has real material implications in their life, right? What you're doing. So keep that in mind when you're doing this kind of work, and use AI to back you up and to help you not get so stressed. All right. So keep all these things in mind, guys. We'll see you on the next video.